Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Megan Twentyman, the BDM for Unified Communications here at Soft Solutions, and thank you for joining us today. This is the first webinar for 2023, and looking forward to running through the Update 6 highlights and what has changed, along with just some quick licensing updates for you all. Now, there is a lot of content, so I apologise in advance. It's not quite my normal bite-sized webinar, but we'll get through as quickly as we can, and of course we'll end with a Q&A. So what's on the agenda today? We're going to have a look at the license overview. This is the most common question I'm receiving from everybody at the moment. Then we're going to dive into Update 6, which is now live. I've even got a sneak peek of some of the information that's coming with Update 7, which has gone into alpha just this week. I've got a quick update on the partner program and where to keep up to date with us, and then we will wrap up with the Q&A. If you've got questions, feel free to pop those into the questions or the chat box as we go through, but I won't address the questions until we get to the end of the webinar, just so that we can keep it as smooth as possible. But don't hesitate to pop questions in as they pop up, and we'll see if we can get those all answered for you. So a quick license overview. This is the most common query that we're getting at the moment because people are a little bit confused between what we call traditional licenses and the new startup product from 3CX. So I'll try and unravel that quickly for you. So the traditional licenses that we're used to, there were 3 editions. There was a standard, professional, and enterprise or pro. And these are now known as dedicated instances. The only licenses that are now sold are the pro and enterprise. If people still have standard paid licenses, they can still be renewed. However, they cannot be upgraded for the simultaneous call count, and they cannot be altered in any way. So literally you use them as they are at the size that they are. So the dedicated instances can still be on-prem or in the cloud. We know most are deploying in the cloud today, but you can have that option of on-prem if you need to. It is their traditional licensing model, which is this SC or the simultaneous call count license model. So that's any call between point A and point B. So nothing has changed with the dedicated licenses in terms of the licensing model. 3CX are strongly encouraging partners to be running 4 simultaneous call all the way up to 32 simultaneous call licenses on their hosted by 3CX platform. Now, this platform was released to the ANZ market in 2022, and we are seeing partners jump on board. It is hosted by Volta in Australia, and we're not seeing any issues, any latency issues. In fact, we have partners that have been using Volta for years, and having the hosted by 3CX just standardizes everything from a support perspective. The other great thing about hosted by 3CX is it counts towards your partner revenue targets as well. So each time you deploy a license and add the hosted by 3CX, it gets you that much closer to the next level of partner program. So the new product is Startup. Now, Startup is a cloud-hosted PBX. That is your license and your hosting all bundled together in one option. There are 3 editions of this. So there is Startup Free, which is up to 10 users. Now, I say users, it is not the simultaneous call count, so it is a different licensing model for Startup. The free has limitations. For example, you can't connect SIP phones to that. It is just for the web client, desktop app, mobile apps. Then there is Startup Pro 10 or Startup Pro 20. So 10 is up to 10 users and 20 is up to 20. So if you have 11 users, you need Startup Pro 20. Now that is a paid subscription. There are restrictions with the SIP providers. They have to be authorized and approved SIP providers by 3CX. And the free license, as I said, has those restrictions. Now, I'm actually just going to jump out onto the 3CX website and show you where you can see the difference between these editions, because this is the query that we are getting all the time. So give me a second and we will just flick over to my prepared Okay, it's just changing over. You should now be seeing the 3CX website. So I'm on the page ready to show you. So it is the pricing page. Remember, everything on here is in USD. You can help yourself to size licenses. So hosted means that it is either the Startup Pro, which includes your hosting, or dedicated with hosted by 3CX, and they bundle the cost. And you can change the users and you'll see the pricing changes. Or you can go to self-managed, which is just the dedicated options. But keep scrolling, okay? There's an explanation about 3CX hosted. So if you click the little plus sign, and then you can link through to more information about the hosted service. And then this is what we're getting to, is this full feature list. So this is the full feature comparison. Now, I'm not expecting you to read this on the screen, so but it's just to understand how you can tell what's in what product. Okay, so you can see we've got Startup Free, which will be 3CX's only free licensing moving forward, and I'll get to the free licensing in a second. Then we have the Startup Pro for 10 or 20, and then we have the Pro and Enterprise dedicated licenses. And as you scroll down, you see different features that have little asterisks next to them, etc. So for example, if you have a hotel client that needs the Hotel PBX module, which is included in dedicated licenses, it is only available when self-managed. It's not available on the hosted by 3CX platform. So there's little things like that that you come down to. So if we just have a look at kind of key product features, Startup Free gives you a basic PBX solution. You're restricted to one ring group, and you have no ability to choose your SIP trunks or anything like that. It is just set in stone. You still get the video conferencing, you get live chat, so you do get lots of features in what will be their free product, but we're really encouraging customers to have paid licenses. So business critical tools need paid licenses. But you can have a look at this in more detail, and if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, because I'm more than happy to assist with that. So now I'm just going to switch back to our presentation, which will just take a second to click over. And we're back, which is great. So we'll zip through to the next slide and talk about free licensing. So up until recently, we've had the standard 4 simultaneous call license as the free license. Any licenses created on or from the 15th of December last year are actually just trial licenses. After 60 days, they will deactivate unless they are upgraded to a paid license. You can also use the proof of concept upgrade process during that trial process, but those licenses are all now expiring if they were done after the 15th of December or will be coming up for expiry. Licenses created before the 15th of December 2022 or that have dropped down from a paid license to the free 4 simultaneous call license continue for now. Many have the expiry set to 30th of June 2023. We do not yet know if that will be extended, but you need to be talking to customers about getting them on to paid licenses. Affiliate partners also have further restrictions with the free licenses. They have a limit of licenses, and so do bronze partners, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in the partner program section. But you will have received emails around that, and I'm happy to talk through your specific requirements and how we can assist there. So there is also Startup Free for up to 10 users, no IP phones, so you would upsell to Startup Pro. If you've got somebody on standard 4 simultaneous call free license, the best option is going to be, most likely, it's a gross generalization, I do apologize, the most likely option is to upgrade them to a 4 simultaneous call pro license, which means all their infrastructure stays the same. You just refresh the key once our team process it, and then they have a full functioning paid PBX solution or unified communication solution, because hopefully they're using more features than just the phone calling. All right, update 6. So 3CX have run a whole lot of webinars, and hopefully many of you have been on those webinars where Nicholas Perez, who's the global trainer, has walked through update 6. His description is this is like a whole new version of 3CX, but you know, we're already got update 7 alpha as well, so the development is not slowing down. But update 6 brought together a lot of changes that started in around about May 2022 that we went through updates 3, 4, and 5, and it was bringing everything together. And update 7 will continue with that, and we'll take a sneak peek at that as well. So what are those key things that have changed, and what do you need to do before you upgrade customers to update 6? Now, we have updated our system internally to update 6 like everybody. We wait a couple of weeks or a week or bit, and then we upgrade. But 3CX go through a very, very strong alpha, beta, and release candidate process, and we're seeing no issues, and in fact, embracing the new technologies. So user roles are a very big part of update 6. And these roles apply to the web client only, and they define what someone can do on the system. Now, I'm not going to bore you with going through each of these roles, but I am going to talk about the system owner. The system owner has full rights across all groups, and we're going to talk about groups shortly, and they can also elevate other people to system administrator roles and that type of thing. Now, this is a new role. There were 3 roles under update 5. We now have 7. You have to have a system owner. So when you go to update 6, you must set a system owner. Now, what most of our partners will be doing, because they manage the 3CX for their customers, is they're setting themselves as a system owner, and that makes perfect sense so that you can control and allocate user rights to the different parties within the organization. Now, 3CX have also released in their Set Up Your Team manual section a fantastic grid that shows what each of these roles is able to do. Now, I have this available to show you, so I am going to flick to it because I think it is quite valuable to see this, and we'll share the link in our follow-up email as well. So we're just going to jump back to Chrome, and then I'm going to jump to here. Okay, so this is in the manual, and it talks about the roles that we're talking about, but there is this fantastic grid that shows you at each level what people can and can't do. It also differentiates between the startup product and our dedicated instances. So I would highly recommend having this bookmarked. I do, because even I forget what each level can do, and I'm not going to go through all that detail because you won't remember it, but I will share that link with you. So that's really, really important, and I think it's important that you go and have a look at that and have it available for easy reference. So we'll just flick back to my presentation. Just takes a second to change over. There we go. So I'm not going to go into great detail about all of the roles, but just be aware you do need a system owner. So lots of information there and lots to digest. WebClient Admin. This is the new interface. So this is actually taken from my screenshot today. And you can see that down on the left-hand side, I have an admin panel. So this is where a lot of the functionality now lives. So that's the configuring new users, it's setting people's roles, it's got expanded call handling. And one of the objections that I'm hearing from people that are used to working with 3CX dedicated licenses and have done so for a long time is we'd rather it was just in the management console. Now, Nicholas Perez actually addressed this on one of his webinars, and it struck true with me. The management console is accessed via a web page. We go in there and we do some updates. The admin user is also accessed via a web page in Google Chrome and gives you the same functionality. Now, what he declared on one of the webinars, and I sat through about 3 of them, was that the plan is to continue to migrate everything within the web client for those that have the specific role within 3CX to be able to manage these functionalities. And that's why you need to have a system owner in there. So it's really important that you have that system owner and understand it's just accessing it from a slightly different place. They're trying to make it more user-friendly and allowing you as the partner to delegate what a customer can and can't do. You might want them doing nothing, that's fine, or you might want them to have some ability to do some changes, and that's where they've defined those roles to help you with that. So just another look at user roles. Now I've just blacked out some of our internal extension numbers and bits and pieces for you. But what you can see here is people have different rights. So I tried to find a screen where we had a few people with different things. So we've got users, a manager and a receptionist on this particular screen, but obviously we have multiple screens. And you can easily see at a glance from within the admin panel on my web client what each person's role is. So it's really easy. It's taking a while to get used to because it's changed, but we're getting there, and I'm getting faster at finding things, and I'm going to put myself to the test in a minute and show you within that admin panel. We'll just talk quickly about group functionality. So groups are no longer just a group of extensions. They're actually now a key feature for managing within 3CX. So you can set time zones and office hours and languages by group. So it allows you to have a lot of functionality, but within one instance. So it's almost kind of like a multi-tenancy, but allowing organizations to have it on one instance. So, where you've got companies in different time zones, you've got a New Zealand office, an Australia office, and a Singapore office. You want to be able to differentiate between those and easily separate the routing, the SIP trunks, all those types of things. And you can have users with different user rights within those groups. So physical locations of difference will be a key use, and also phone routing based on the time received. So you might have a bit of a follow the sun type policy. So that's one of those key things as well. So groups become very important, and we saw when we migrated ourselves from update 5 to update 6 how our groups moved across, and then we can reconfigure if we need to. You're also going to be able to do your IP phone configuration from within the admin panel of the web client. So this is also getting enhanced in update 7, and we'll look at that in a minute. So it's a more streamlined process. They have tried to get everything moving in a direction where it's more standardized, not just kind of added on. And I think that's going to work to everybody's advantage. So we just need to, again, get used to a slightly different way of doing the same thing, and an easier way of doing it. So we, saw them rewrite that RPS provisioning server, and we're going to see mass provisioning in update 7. So that's a pretty exciting feature that we've been waiting for. So, phone config, again, you can do it as a system owner, or you can delegate for somebody to be able to do that. The other key thing is the SBC capable IP phones. So this was announced during the alpha and beta process of update 6. It is via a firmware upgrade, so you don't have to go and buy a specific hardware. However, for those that are using Fanville hardware, it is the V2 versions of the units. So if you've got older hardware, which is V1, there is not a firmware to update those. So if you're ordering, make sure you let your distributor know that you need the V2 model, because you're going to use it as a router phone, which is the new word for it. So it's functioning as an SBC or router phone, and you can tether up to 10 or proxy up to 10 phones off that one phone. Other use case scenarios are people that are working from home and want a desk phone. You can give them a router phone, so you no longer need to use Stun. Now Stun is still available, but it will go away. So it's time to think about transitioning people that need a desk phone at home because they do a lot of work from home to a router phone. So there's Yealink and Fanville models, and there's also SNOM, which has been announced in update 7. So lots of models to choose from. For Yealink, it's the T5s, and anybody coming along to our Yealink session tomorrow, we'll have some T5s there that you can have a look at. And then Fanville have multiple units. It's all about the power on the unit to be able to run as a router or SBC phone. It's really easy configuration. Nicholas did it on one of the webinars, and it took under a minute basically, so it is fairly easy. Just a note on that, there is nothing to stop you having multiple phones that have 10 phones proxied off them. However, if you've got that level, you're probably going to look at a standalone SBC to do it all. And one of the gotchas is always going to be if somebody decides to unplug that router phone, because it'll take everybody else offline. So just be aware of that when you think about where you're putting that phone and who's going to be using it. So now I'm just going to jump back across to my web client. Here we go. So this is inside our live Soft Solutions web client, and you can see all my team, what they're doing and what they're up to. And you can see I have an admin panel. So I am a super user. We will jump into admin. Okay, so this is where we look at all those features that are coming through. So I have users, and I can jump to those users, which is where my screenshot was from earlier. We can set up our SIP trunks, our groups. So this is where we can configure specific office hours for specific groups. And you can see ours is all sort of configured in the groups that are pulled through from update 5. It's also where, as a group leader, you can have the rights to update office hours for your group or for your team members. It's where the call handling is now configured, so things like ring grips and queues and digital receptionists. You can link to the management console, so m.console is just a quick link across to your management console for now, but that's what it looks like. So it's not particularly scary, it's just in a slightly different place to what we're used to seeing it. So as I say, it's just getting used to seeing things in a slightly different place. So we're going to leap back to my presentation. Sorry, it's a bit all over the place going backwards and forwards today, but it's just important to talk about all these functions. Okay. So, other thing that is really important is Microsoft Teams and Facebook Messenger Business are not going anywhere. They are here to stay. 3CX had signaled that they were moving away from both of those platforms, but they have confirmed they will be staying, albeit with changes. So for Microsoft Teams, there's going to be a redevelopment to come. There'll also probably be a license restriction of 16 or 24 simultaneous call enterprise being the minimum level for that license. It is not designed to pick and choose between today I want to call on 3CX and tomorrow I want to call on Microsoft Teams. It's one or the other. It's also designed for the majority of users would be using 3CX, with just a handful using the Microsoft Teams for calling. There is a whole really good blog post on that, telling and outlining what their plans are around Microsoft Teams, and we'll start to see that coming in the next few weeks, I feel. With Facebook, Meta have made some back-end changes, so it will also be redeveloped like the WhatsApp Business has been, and that will allow people to manage their Facebook messengers via the chat functionality within 3CX as well. So great news that both of those functions are staying, and we'll see more about those changes coming up soon. So update 7 was just announced on what day are we? Tuesday. It was announced over the weekend, Saturday our time. So the WebClient admin interface is going to be extended further. They have signalled and announced that RPS mass provisioning will be available, which is fantastic. Debt configuration will be available from that interface, and manual phone provisioning will also be available. So again, we're seeing more of that migration from the management console into the web client. They've also signalled that there will be a new install server. It is ready for launch, but they're not putting it in the alpha, and it's going to speed up deployment for both dedicated, hosted and startup, and we'll see more information on that as we go through the alpha and beta process for update 7. Remember, it is alpha, so if you're going to put it on a system, please just put it on your test system. We're going to update our test system later this week as well. Haven't had a chance yet. Right, partner program. So 3CX have already signalled that affiliate partner level will be going away. They have adjusted their targets for bronze. They've brought that down to US $1,000 retail. So this is not the price you pay to Soft Solutions. It is the retail value of any transaction, including hosted by 3CX. So to put that into terms of licensing, you need about 4 simultaneous call pro licenses, or 4 of them with hosted by 3CX, and you'll tick over the $1,000 retail. They've asked all affiliate partners to confirm to them that they wish to remain a partner, or their accounts will be converted to customer accounts. So we're working with all of our partners, and if there's any affiliate partners on this webinar and you think you may be affected, please do reach out to me and I'll do everything I can to assist you. We want to see growth with our partners. You get your recurring revenue and then your new sales coming through as well. These are global targets. They are nothing specific to Australia or New Zealand. So the levels have gone up slightly for silver, gold, platinum and titanium this year with those stretch targets. I did ask 3CX how they see partners achieving that. One of the key ways they see is by using the hosted by 3CX service as well, because that definitely helps with your targets. Free licenses, as we've discussed, are going away. They're also a key target to upgrade people to a 4 simultaneous call pro, which each of those has a US retail of $145. So, you start upgrading a few of those licenses and you'll be very close to bronze if you're an affiliate. And if you're sitting between silver and gold or bronze and silver, it'll help you clock up towards those targets as well. In terms of resources, 3CX themselves are running a lot of webinars. So Sebastian, who is the ANZ sales manager, is running those webinars, 1 a week, focused on a specific topic, and then we will obviously have restarted our regular monthly webinars. You can reach out to us at all times. We're always here to help. You've got 3CX's marketing kit on your downloads and your partner portal. The 3CX website continues to evolve, and we've looked at that pricing and product comparison page, which is a key one. The sales pages are being updated, the configuration guides are being updated. They really are trying to keep everything up to date, and we're also going to work on a lot of materials to assist you during this year as well. That's one of my core goals for 2023, is to provide more materials that you can share with your customers. Technical training. So 3CX have signalled for some time now that the new certifications are coming. We believe they're imminent. I heard the rumour that they're about a week away. So they are advertising US training on the new materials. We will go from 3 certifications to just 2. We'll have a basic and an advanced, and everybody will be required to recertify. So we need the new materials ourselves so that we can get up to speed, and then we will start rolling out trainings and inviting you all to attend. We have communications going out, our UC monthly channel update. We've got our weekly newsletter for events section. We've got the LinkedIn group, which is where I post everything first. So if you're not tuned into those, please let us know so we can help you get tuned in so that you're not missing vital information. And now we come to the Q&A. So first of all, thank you for your attendance today. We really do appreciate it. And I will try to answer all of the questions, which looks like there's a few coming in while I'm been talking. So just give me a second to have a look at these. And feel free to throw any extra questions in here as well. Yes, you can have multiple system owners on the one site. So for example, for Soft Solutions, we've got 3 of us, so that if anything needs to be done at that system owner level, we can do that. However, only a system owner can appoint somebody else as a system owner, or you've got to log into the management console with full rights and set that status. So Anisha was off sick, so I just logged in and as admin and set myself as a system owner so that I could actually show you within that today. Do they ever plan to have configurable ringtones for ring groups? I haven't heard anything about that. What I would suggest is putting that on the ideas forum if it's not there already. I will make a note of that, and I will see if we can get that an answer to that query for you. Facebook chat takes a while to do and get working. There's a new way coming, so hold fire. There will be new coming, and once it's set up, it is much easier. NFR licenses, yes, there are changes to the NFR licenses. You can see when you first log into your partner portal on the homepage what your entitlements are. And I have next to me, give me 2 seconds, one I prepared earlier. Okay, so I think it's bronze gets 8 simultaneous core enterprise, silver gets 16, and I think gold, platinum and titanium get 32, but don't quote me on that. I will double check that for you, but there are restrictions on that. Affiliate partners don't get an enterprise NFR, but we obviously try and get them up to bronze as quickly as possible. Specific hours to groups are done via the web client, not via the management console anymore. So when you go, that's at update 6. So if you're still on the old version, you can do it there. But once you move to update 6, you will do that from the web client with that system owner preference, and there's others that can do that as well. I think I've answered yes, you can have more than one system owner. I do have good news as well. To offer SIP for startup, it's done a different way to how SIP is done for dedicated licenses. And Uphone, who were the first partner here in New Zealand to become a 3CX interop partner many, many years ago now, have submitted all of their credentials to be able to offer startup, which I know will please many of our customers. So we're waiting for that to come through, and then we will officially announce that that has occurred. But that's very exciting for us to have extra partners that are able to offer startup. I think I've got all the questions. If I've missed anything or you haven't understood, feel free to drop me an email or give me a call. I'm going to go and have a glass of water and a bit of a cough because my COVID cough is lingering at the back of my throat. But I really do thank you all for taking the time to attend today. I know it's a slightly longer webinar than normal, but I'm sure you'll all agree that there was a lot of extra content that needed to be shared, and we'll keep you updated with update 7 as that comes out and we start doing all of our testing as well. But you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see many of you at our Yalink event tomorrow. But for the rest of you, we'll see you all soon. Thanks for attending.